no, storytelling is not industry. Okay, let me put it this way. It's agnostic to whichever situation or industry you're in. I have now worked with, I think, about 16, 17 industries, 50 different clients, and it has worked everywhere. Having said that, the more stories that you can share where the context is well understood by the person, and the more he will be able to understand it or imbibe it better. Let me give you an example. So let's say the point you're trying to make in a pharma industry, because you mentioned pharma, is to someone saying, the best way you can establish credibility with your client, in case of pharma, it'll be with your doctors, is to be transparent, right? Now, you could take a example of what does being transparent mean from any other industry, or you could take an example from far closer home. When you take it from far closer home, it'll have a higher impact. So I'm going to share a story about transparency from the pharma industry, which I had first picked up in the pharma industry and then used it to train people in pharma. So this is a story. I'm not going to name the company because we have client confidentiality. There's a large pharma company, and here is one of the sales reps telling me the story. He says, sir, I've just been promoted and placed in Bombay. Prior to being here, I was in Malegaon. Malegaon is a small coastal town near Bombay, and I never met my targets in most of my time there because targets in this company, sir, are very tough. Yeah. But suddenly, 1 month of May, when the April results came out, I saw that I had actually crossed the target, and I was very surprised. And so I took out the data, and I saw that I had sold a huge amount of medicine X, but that's not possible. So I said, why? He said, because medicine X is a specialty medicine. It is for the post-operative care of the ear canal. And I don't even have an ENT surgeon, forget ENT, I don't even have an ENT specialist in Malegaon. So how can I'm selling? Because this is only prescribed for post-operative care of the ear canal, which means if someone has had a ear operation, the post-operative care uses medicine X. So I started looking at all the data and found out that all the sales had come actually from one locality. And when I went to the stores in that locality, I found that all the prescriptions they had serviced actually came from one doctor. And you know what the funny thing is, sir? That doctor is not even in my call list. I looked at our seminar list. He's never attended a seminar by us. So, but I found his clinic. I gave my card, waited for my turn. When he called me in, I introduced myself and thanked him for supporting our company. And I asked him, Doctor, under what condition do you prescribe medicine X? And the doctor said, well, if someone comes with a earache in this back portion of the ear, I first give them antibiotic A. If it doesn't work, I give them medicine X. He says, but sir, which colleague of mine told you that this is the right procedure and this is the right medicine for the problem you're talking about? Or did you come to a seminar? Because he said, no, that's not how it happened. I said, then how did it happen? Oh, well, I had a patient who had a bad earache here. I gave them antibiotic A. It didn't work. I told them to repeat antibiotic A. It still didn't work. He was in terrible pain. So I said, you better go to Bombay and meet Dr. Ismail Sheikh. Oh, you mean the ear surgeon? I don't know if he's a surgeon. I know he's a ENT specialist. And then about 3 weeks or 4 weeks later, I found this patient of mine in the bus stop. He was going to catch a bus. So I waved him and said, how are you? And he said, I'm fine, doctor. And so I said, what medicine did Dr. Sheikh give you? He says, I don't know the name. I'll get you the prescription. And the prescription said medicine X. I said, oh my God, doctor, I wish you had asked more questions. I don't know what his problem was, but I can guarantee you that Dr. Sheikh did an operation on the ear. And this was given only for post-operative care. It has steroids, etc. It is not for the indication you're talking about. In fact, it is not even off-label. Off-label in that industry means it doesn't say on the label, but you could use it. And so he says, doctor, I'm really sorry, but this is not the right medicine, and it is only going to harm your patient. I would really request you to not prescribe this medicine again. And I'm also sorry, we in this company don't have a medicine for this indication. And then he says, sir, after that, I never met my targets again. Now, that is such a powerful example of transparency. So what happens is, because you've used this example in the pharma industry, you get people to understand that story much more than if I use this in the automobile industry. But I'm sure a similar example of transparency must exist there as well. So that's what I would do.